This is TV International. I'm Patty Debonitas. I'm here with Fariborz Pooya from the Worker-Communist Party of Iran. We're talking about the elections that have just happened in Iran. And the election results have been, I think for most people very surprisingly, that Ahmadinejad won with apparently 62% and the closest runner-up Mousavi with 33%. There have been, of course, a lot of reactions of the people in Iran and abroad to these results, and I think many cannot quite believe the results. There have been massive protests coming up over the couple of days after the election results were announced. Now, Fariborz Pooya, we have seen videos and photos, of course, of clashes. Unfortunately, now people have also died already in a city in the protests. In the Western media, what we could read was, the first impression was that it was Mousavi supporters who came out because they thought they had won. And then now it is not clear, I think, who are the people who are protesting.
Yeah, this is the general discontent that exists in Iranian society against the Islamic regime. This is not the Mousavi supporters. We have said for many months that people should not take part in this in the elections, and actually they should turn this situation against the whole of Islamic regime. This is what we have said. This is our protest. This is our movement actually presenting. And there is, you could clearly, the Western media is, they can't believe, they can't accept. It is not in their interest to talk about this. And this protest, it's our protest, it's our movement, the movement to overthrow Islamic regime, and we'll do this. And we at WPI, we represent this movement. And you'll see in many cities, of course, the people who actually took part in the election and voted for Mousavi will be part of the demonstration, because some people are trying to actually create divisions within this Islamic regime. But majority of people are young generation who do not believe actually that any factions, any of these criminals in the elites of the Islamic regime can support any, or you can create a benefit to them. They know this, and they've come out on the streets to actually to protest against all of the Islamic regime. The slogans now is down with the Islamic regime of Iran, down with this dictator. What we want is actually freedom, and they don't believe that any of these. Mousavi actually said to people, keep calm, keep quiet, and I'll follow this through official channels. We know what that means, but people are not listening to him. These are not supporters of Mousavi. These are the people actually are our movement. The people actually listen to New Channel TV, listen to WPI, and are opposition for the overthrow of the Islamic regime.
So give us a quick summary of where are protests happening, and who is out there.
Sure. Mostly are young people, women and men together, mostly young people. A generation of people who actually were born within the Islamic regime. They are under 30 and have no fear of the Islamic regime. They're very clear what they want. They want freedom. It's happening in Tehran, in city of Tehran, not in one location, on many locations, on tens of locations. It happened during the last 3 days. We've had it during the day, and last night we had it in the evenings. Today we've had plenty of protests as well, all over and we have cities, many cities in Iran. We've had in Ahvaz, in Esfahan, we had in Shiraz, we had in Tabriz, we had in Mashhad, we had in many smaller cities in Iran, and that protest is continuing, and I don't think the government can control it so easily.
So what are you saying is that actually many people might have voted, but now seeing the election result that many people doubt, they are upset, so they have come out on the street.
Well, it's actually the element of those. I mean, we've had sort of live TV program today, and people have come and said, look, we've voted for Mousavi, but he doesn't represent us because we want to change. Effectively to change, and they've actually moved beyond him very quickly. He wasn't a significant figure in terms of achieving anything. It was just an opportunity for some people, but the majority of his people are anti-Islamic regime, opposed to totality of Islamic regime. They would not see any results from one faction against the other faction, despite what the Western media, the BBC, the Voice of America, Sky TV, all of those want us to believe. Actually, this is our movement protesting on the streets, and we try to represent it.
And so what do they want, the people on the streets?
They want freedom. They do not want the Islamic regime of Iran. They want all factions of regime to go, and goodbye to Ahmadinejad, Khamenei and Khatami and Mousavi, all of those. That's what they want, and they're going to continue with that protest, and we urge them to do that.
So how do you think, what can actually happen on the streets of Tehran and elsewhere in Iran?
I think it's difficult to predict these situations. Clearly, Islamic regime wants to Islamic government actually want to suppress this. They've already we've seen the street clashes, demonstrators actually clashing with security forces, and on many occasions security forces that just run away from the demonstrators. They'll try to actually arrest them. Arrested a number of the factions of the Islamic regime. They've released them very quickly, but we know they've arrested quite a number of demonstrators. And they've actually shot, we're hearing different numbers from 3 to 7 in northern city of Iran, Tabriz in Iran. But this is going to continue, I think, because Ahmadinejad is in power, the supreme leader has confirmed his presidency, and people are not happy about the situation. They don't want another 4 years of Islamic rule, and so this is a clash I think is going to continue in one way or another. Islamic regime has come out of this election weaker. We've come out of this election stronger. We are very clear what we want. Our slogans are a slogan of people, down with the dictator, down with the Islamic regime, and we want freedom. I mean, these are the basic fundamentals. I think that's what we want. The other thing that I think is significant, we need to ask, and we've asked that the actually leaders of the Islamic regime are criminals. All of them, there are cases against them, personally against them, and they should be put on trial. That's another campaign that we're trying to drive forward.
And that includes also the candidates that just...
Absolutely, all four of those. All 4 of those candidates are actually criminals, and they have cases to answer.
So how can people support the people in Iran at the moment?
I think currently there's been a lot of demonstrations abroad. We've organized demonstrations in many cities in Europe and in America, in Canada, in Los Angeles, and in many cities in Germany, in London, in France, many in Australia. We've organised demonstrations. I think people should join these demonstrations daily. Currently it's happening on a daily basis. We are very clear, and I think part of this is not to believe the diet from the Western media, because there is no interest for them to actually say that these protests beyond the factions of the Islamic regime. Do not believe those, and support us, both financially. This TV has been very important. New channel TV has been extremely important in organising the demonstrations in Iran, giving leadership to the demonstrations in Iran, making sure that people are not fooled by the factions of the Islamic regime, by the lies that they give to people. And we've been very, very successful in that, and we will continue to support us. Pay donation to the WPI and New Channel TV, and support our demonstration and our cause. We represent the people of Iran. Khamenei doesn't, Khatami doesn't, Ahmadinejad doesn't, Mousavi doesn't. None of the other candidates do. We represent the people of Iran. We can discuss this. We the ones, as soon as we take power, we resolve the issue of the Palestinian question and Hamas. We'll stop all the funding to Islamists in Middle East. We resolve the issue of the nuclear power. If people are interested, in our policies, we'll stop the whole, nuclear. We abandon all and dismantle all of the nuclear drive and the project in the Islamic regime. We know that's terrible. We don't need nuclear power in Iran. We don't need to fund this Hezbollah and terrorist group. We'll stop all those. These are the first 2 things that we'll do immediately as soon as we come into power. So WPR needs to be supported, and this is our movement, and we are very keen and we're very determined to do this.
We take a little break, and we will be back in a moment.